Zach Galifianakis calls out Rogan's cult.
Wait, all the podcasters that have had the president on now, they don't do their court gesture. They don't do it. They just, they suck up to him.
Yeah.
So the comedians
Yep.
that have had, that are podcasters that have.
Big up Zach Galifianakis, the comedians, I love it. Big up Zach, I love that, I love that. Rogan is not a comedian.
Have had Trump on, they're not doing their job.
It's tough now because the podcasters have become just kissers for the politicians, right? They don't challenge them. They just like, yeah, that's cool.
All right, so it looks like
I don't think that's fair, though. I don't think that's fair. I don't think they challenge them, not because they don't want to, because they don't have anything to challenge. They actually like them. I think that's the problem we have. The framing is weird. The framing is wrong. Rogan is not challenging Trump because he doesn't want him to look bad. He's not challenging Trump because he likes Trump. Why would I challenge him? Why would I? Do you know what I mean? Why would you do that if you agree largely with what he does? If you agree largely with what he says, why would you want to challenge him? I think because the framing makes it seem like these guys are going to come back around. They're not. They're not going to come back around. They've already decided what way they want to go. They've already decided which way they lean politically. That's it. It is what it is. Just put up with it. But I don't think there's this idea that, oh no, they're not challenging him because they want to suck up, because they want to curry favor. No, they're sucking up because they like the person.
the actor and comedian Zach Galifianakis, who you probably recognize from the Hangover movies.
No, they don't. They don't have to challenge them. They don't. This is not, again, I don't think you should expect a politician to go on a fucking comedian's podcast and then get challenged. That's not the place where they should be getting challenged. They should be getting challenged in places where people know what they're talking about. Comedians largely don't know what they're talking about. They're privileged people. They don't even exist in like the normal way that most humans exist. They don't interact with the world most humans exist. If you're a comedian and the president's willing to go on your podcast, it's fair to say that you're a multimillionaire, if not a billionaire. Trump isn't going on some random person's pod. He's only going to go on your pod if you're already successful. So by that token, if you're successful, most people that are successful usually lean right, because the right usually has more favorable taxes and shit that accommodate the rich. So you're usually going to lean right if you want to kind of preserve your wealth, keep your money, spend less money on taxes and shit. It's just how it goes. Unfortunately, it's just how it goes. The older you get, the more right you lean for the most part, especially if you start to make more money. But I think people are looking at it like these guys were once on your side. Now they are going to be back on your side if they just challenge. No, they're multi-millionaires. They're never going to be on the left side. They're never going to be Democrats. They're never going to be liberals anymore. They make too much money to be a liberal. There is such a thing, in my opinion, to making too much money where it's almost impossible to be a socialist or a liberal. It's almost impossible. Because how are you making that money? How does, you know what I mean? How do you spend that money? It's going to go against a lot of the ideals that you allegedly preach or you indoctrinate with. You're going to end up being one of those champagne socialist types, and who wants to be that? So I think the framing is wrong. Joe Rogan does not challenge JD Vance or Trump because he's scared. He does not challenge them because he largely agrees with what they say and he's a fan. So why would you hold your friends' feet to the fire? Doesn't matter if they're president. You don't give a fuck. It's your podcast. You can do what the fuck you want. The point is, those politicians should be getting challenged more on the platforms where that type of thing is necessary. But they also avoid it. So I get the frustration in America. I get the frustration. Most of these politicians are avoiding being challenged. They're avoiding speaking to actual journalists, speaking to people that actually know what they're talking about, because they don't want to be exposed. So they'd rather go for a softball interview with like a Theo or a Joe Rogan. I get that frustration. But expecting a challenging interview from Theo Von or Rogan is kind of naive. And you also have to accept, even though you don't like it, that Rogan likes Trump as a person for whatever reason. He likes him. That's why he's running cover for him. That's why he doesn't criticize him. That's why when Theo was having his moment of clarity, that's why fucking Rogan, who's friends with Theo, loves Theo, essentially went so hard on Theo, he essentially accused him of like maybe abusing his antidepressant drugs and maybe needing to lay off of it and not believing in fucking mental health and just gaslighting the fuck out of him just to defend fucking Trump's honor. That type of person isn't going to come back around on your side anytime soon. They're already off the reservation. But they're only off the reservation because they're fans of the person, not because they're just scared or something. Let's get that out of our head.
or Between Two Ferns, just went absolutely ballistic on all the podcasters in the Rogan sphere who interviewed Trump before the elections in 2024. Because Zach Galifianakis is also a comedian who's had politicians on his show.
Yo, we got a friend of the show. We just got to agree to disagree, my friend. We're going to have to largely agree to disagree. We're going to have to largely agree to disagree. But I just think the idea that these guys are going to come back around is asinine and insane. They make too much money to come back around. They're always going to be leaning right. They're always going to be leaning right. They've shown their true colors with the whole Trump presidency. To expect them to have some sort of like honest, fair, challenging conversation or question interview with the president is stupid. The fact that they're on that show in the first place is because they don't want to get challenged. The fact that they agreed to go on that show uninterrupted for 2 hours plus is because they want to go there for a softball interview. So that's what it is. That's all it is. If anything, the podcast bubble and this whole politics thing should show going forward, maybe people should take less stock in what politicians say. Maybe there's people that voted for Trump because Rogan endorsed them, because Theo had him on his pod, because Tim Dillon interviewed somebody from the administration. Those people should maybe take a long, hard look at themselves and say, okay, maybe I shouldn't take the advice of a famous or super rich podcast guy. Maybe their endorsement isn't what I should be looking for. Maybe I should be thinking more about my own kind of, policies, my own politics, the things that affect me, the things that affect the people in my community more, the things that affect the average American citizen more than what some comedian is thinking that lives in Calabasas. So that's what I think this Trump thing has done. I think it's hopefully opened people's eyes to know that, okay, some of these podcasters are very successful, but just because they're successful and they've got a #1 podcast doesn't mean they know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to politics or societal issues. Don't pretend that to be the case.
Show in the past, as he had Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton on his show Between Two Ferns way back in the mid-2010s. But if you've seen those already, then you'd obviously know that he approached these interviews way differently than Rogan, Schultz, and Theo Vaughn, as his interviews were entirely based around comedy, while the Trump podcasts were pretty much just hours of propaganda slop. So for him to see these so-called comedians who have quote-unquote comedy podcasts doing absolutely zero comedy while glazing Donald Trump to no end was an absolute disgrace and a complete embarrassment to the comedy world.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it. I won't go into it, but I do think that was particularly helpful to you when you did your famous Between Two Ferns interview with Obama, because you're the only person that gave him, I mean, I know that this in any way was just you doing your comedy, but you were so rude as that person. Right. And it's hilarious because I don't think anyone's talked to, certainly a sitting president, or even in this time, no one's talked that way. Well, all the podcasters that have had the president on now, they don't do their court gesture. They don't do it. They just, they suck up to him. Yeah. So the comedians that are podcasters that have had Trump on, they're not doing their job. Yeah. Yeah. That's not the job of a comedian. You are to challenge. Yeah. You are to make uncomfortable. You're not to sit there and fake laugh. Yep.
I don't know. A job of a comedian is to be funny. That's not true. The job of the comedian is to be funny. Whatever you find funny is what you find funny. This whole challenging thing is like a bit crazy. What? To be a comedian is to just be funny. If the interviews are funny, they'd be a lot more bearable. If anything, I think Theo's interview with Trump was quite funny, right? A little bit. He kind of got Trump to open up in a different sort of way. But I don't think it's up to a comedian to challenge a politician. I really don't think, unless they themselves want to do that because they're maybe like a Dave Smith, they're politically kind of motivated or have a view that way. But what, like, number one, why are fucking politicians going on comedy podcasts anyway? Do you know what I mean? You're a politician, like, get fucking serious, do your fucking job, go on a real fucking show that they talk about real fucking affairs, not some guy that's talking about fucking flashlights. So yeah, I don't really agree with this. Like, comedians should be funny. This is probably why comedy sucks so much now, about speaking truth to power, all this nonsense. No, be fucking funny first. Whatever your topic matter is, be funny first, please. Be funny.
That is not the job of the court jester. Yeah. Period. So there is a difference. Somebody yesterday was talking to me about that, about, political influence through comedy and all that stuff. I'm more interested in the comedy first. Me too. Yeah.
So right off the bat, you can tell that...
How are you saying you're interested in comedy first when you just said you want them to challenge them? It's like, huh?
There's a huge difference between Zach Galifianakis and the other clowns who are just LARPing as comics. Because Zach correctly defines being a comedian as being the court jester, while the Rogan Sphere guys compare it to being the philosopher. Like, that's how much these guys don't understand comedy. So to be honest, Zach Galifianakis is giving...
That's the problem though. That probably plays into more what he's saying. If Rogan and that really do see themselves as fucking philosophers would have way more questions for the current administration. What the point that American Redak is making a better point than Zach Galifianakis. Zach Galifianakis is saying, "Oh, just be funny, just be funny." Then on the other side of his mouth, he's saying, "Challenge people, challenge somebody." You can't challenge somebody and be funny. It doesn't work that way. You have to pick one or the other. And I think in this case, if they think they're fucking if they're fucking manosphere influencers that have philosophy and all that shit in their back pocket, you should levy some of those philosophical questions towards the current administrations, and obviously use nowadays issues as a kind of good example or backdrop. That's what you should be doing.
Giving them way too much credit here by calling them comedians, because they clearly take themselves way too seriously, and they think so highly of themselves that they'd never even consider to do their act with the president on their podcast. So before we move along with the Conan interview here, I think it's important to compare Zach's political interviews side by side with Andrew Schultz's and Joe Rogan's, because once you see how different they really are, you'll absolutely know where Zach's coming from. Like, the sheer amount of bootlicking these guys did was just out of this world. I mean,
there's no way Trump said anything that funny, man. There's no way Trump said anything that funny. Also, big up to Akash's wife saying the flagrant fans are right wing. When this is what Akash was doing during an interview with Trump. She's acting like it's the fans that are right wing. It's like, brother, your husband might be right wing. Look at how he's laughing at something Trump is saying. Full teeth on display, leaning back. Look at Charles's face. So fake. There's nothing that guy could say that's that funny, really. Come on. I know Trump can be funny sometimes, but not that funny. Let's be real. Let's relax a little bit.
Out of this world. I mean, it was almost like they were so starstruck that they pretty much forgot that they consider themselves as professional funny guys.
And then others would say, "Oh, he rambled." I don't ramble. If I start a story, what you do is you weave things and you do it. You have to have certain things. You need an extraordinary memory because you have to come back to where you started.
Yes.
You always, a weave is only good if you come back.
They don't give you credit for that.
Yeah, it's true.
That you could go all the way over here and then
I
get
can
back.
go so far here or there, and I can come back to exactly where I started. Now, someday when you don't...
That's not that funny. He's actually just explaining the way that he speaks. And they're laughing as if he did the most incredible spit ever. What the fuck was that about? He's literally just explaining the way that he's trying to rationalize, right? He's trying to rationalize the way that he just rambles and meanders. And they're laughing as if like he made the most funniest fucking joke in the world. It really wasn't that funny. He's actually not even trying to be funny. He's actually trying to be somewhat serious. It's so weird.
Don't come back to where you started.
You're Biden.
Then you say...
One of the beautiful things about you is that you freeball. Like, you get out and you do...
One of the beautiful things of Rogan. Yuck. One of the beautiful things about you. By the way, does he have makeup on? Does he have makeup on, you think? I think he's got a bit of makeup on there, isn't it? The beautiful thing about you. Fucking hell, Rogan. The beautiful thing, you know.
Do these huge events and you're just talking and you're making... We've highlighted you on the show many times when you did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny. It's stand-up. It's funny stuff. But it's like and you were making fun of Elon one time. You were doing an Elon impression. It's great. You have like comedic instincts. Like when you said to Hillary, you'd be in jail. Like that's great timing. Yeah. But it's like that kind of stuff was unheard of as a politician. Like no one had done that.
So the presidential meat riding they put on display here was just beyond human comprehension. And in comparison to Zach's interview with Obama, I think you can understand.
By the way, presidential meat rider is a crazy insult to call somebody. If someone called you a presidential meat rider, you have to fucking fight them. You have to fight them. If somebody called you a presidential meat rider, a generational meat rider, right? You have to fight them. Big up American Redux.
and why Zach's just a little bit frustrated with these wannabe comedians interviewing the president, as Zach's interview was more so how a comedian should really approach these things.
First question. In 2013, you pardoned the turkey. What do you have planned for 2014?
We'll probably pardon another turkey. We do that every Thanksgiving.
See, this is what you should be doing with a politician. Trolling. Making it funny like Sunday Best. Who's that guy? That guy from Barstool Sports. That's the one. Sunday. There we are. Yeah. This is how you should be interviewing politicians if you're a comedian. Like this. You should interview them like this. Let me see if I can find a good one. What was a fucking good one? Let's do the Anthony Edwards one. That was a good one.
The Minnesota Austin Reeves. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Okay then. I don't know what that means, but we're gonna go with it.
Big shot taker, big shot maker.
Yeah.
How did it feel to hit that walk-off against the Hawks?
Is it me? Big up Gamebread. Is it me or does he look like Ariel Chouameni from fucking Real Madrid? Am I bugging out or does Anthony Edwards look a lot like a long-lost older brother of Chouameni? I always think that whenever I see him, he always reminds me of Chouameni. I don't know why. Maybe I'm getting my black people mixed up.
Nah, I ain't hit no walk-off against no Hawk. You crazy, man. Oh my God.
You didn't walk off against the Hawks?
No, I walked off. I ain't hit no walk-off though. We got our ass whooped by 30 points at home. I can't sit there and watch that bullshit.
If the game's essentially over, why do you need to be there in the first place?
I mean, to support your team, like, respectfully. I should have stayed and supported.
There's traffic.
Nah, it ain't that much traffic.
The organization, the management, I know you probably don't want to talk about that, but we should.
What about it?
Just talk about Coach. Coach Finch.
What about him? They're my dog.
What's his leadership style like?
He the best in the world.
Is he super hands-on, like is he running a daycare, or is he hands-off? Like he's running a daycare?
He's running a daycare. Yeah.
But is he hands-on or hands-off is my question.
Hands-on.
What about Alex Rodriguez, the new owner?
A-Rod, yeah.
Did he bring some juice to the program?
I mean, yeah, he brought some juice, but I don't know what you talking about, but he brought some juice.
Are you guys stronger as a team or not?
Yeah, we stronger. A-Rod makes us we stronger. We good.
Steroids.
Oh my God.
You ever walk into a hotel room and just be like, wow, thousands of people have slept in this bed before?
Yeah. Especially when we go to Memphis. I'd be like, damn, my hotels ain't none in Memphis. No shit.
Basketballers hate Memphis, isn't it? Basketballers fucking hate Memphis, man. Fuck, is it really that bad, Memphis? Every basketballer talks so fucking badly about going to Memphis to play. They fucking hate Memphis. They might hate Memphis more than they hate London. American people, especially basketball players, might hate Memphis more than they hate London.
It'd be dirty. I walked in the Memphis hotel one time. I had stains and shit on the bed.
Stains and shit?
Stains and shit.
They broke in your room for you?
Nah, they ain't break in, but...
No, I'm saying they broke it in.
Yeah.
But it's Memphis, so they might have also broke in.
For sure. Memphis, shout out.
Shout out Memphis.
Yeah.
Shoot out Memphis.
Nah, shoot out.
Whatever you say.
No.
Do you like peanut butter?
Yeah, I like peanut butter.
Do you mind if we do a new segment presented by Chica Cheetah?
Chica Cheetah, that's what he got on.
Yeah. It tastes like peanut butter, feels like alcohol.
Well, let's do it.
This segment's called Body Swap.
Who's swapping bodies?
Glenny Balls.
Yeah.
If you woke up in Anthony Edwards' body for a day, what's the first thing you would do?
In the day, probably go to the club, pop some bottles, I guess. Why not?
In his body?
Why you don't go to the gym and get some shots up?
Why do you need his body to go to the club?
I could go to the club in my body.
Exactly.
But I could also get shots up in my body.
Ozempic.
Good. Yeah, you can. I switched though.
You switched?
You gotta get some shots up in my body. You can't go pop no bottles. We don't pop
You don't pop bottles?
We don't do no bottles popping.
All right, well, it's my day in your body, so I'm gonna pop some bottles.
Who are you to say what he's gonna do in your body?
Yeah, what you eat don't make me shit.
It's not your day.
You're right.
You like twins?
Talking about the Minnesota Twins? The Minnesota Twins?
I said you like twins.
Do I like twins? I don't know what that means, but I vote Minnesota Twins.
This is how they should be. Why can't honestly, Caleb is not a fucking stand-up comedian from what I know. But why can he perform these interviews that are funny and humorous with notable people and still get something away from it? Why can't comedians do the same thing? Razz your fucking politician, challenge them a little bit with jokes and smiles. That's way better than just sitting there and glazing them and sucking them up the whole time. I know they're doing it because they're fans, I get it. But surely you have a responsibility to the craft, to the profession of stand-up comedy, to keep every episode that you do funny. Every episode a stand-up comedian does of their comedy podcast should always be funny. If it's not funny, you might as well quit being a stand-up comedian.
Who's your favorite player?
I don't got no favorite player.
What about the Wild?
I ain't got no favorite player from them either. I don't know no players from the Twins or the Wild.
Why not?
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't watch no baseball or no hockey.
People say if you want to get more minutes, think about baseball.
Nah, I ain't. I'm not out here fishing for more minutes. I'm trying to, I'm good where I'm at.
In and out.
Yeah, 38, 39 minutes.
That's enough.
That's enough for me.
You're probably going to say who's that to this, but.
Okay.
Does it bother you to be compared all the time to Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
What about Michael Cera?
I don't know who that is.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah. That sounds like a fake name though.
You know Michael Cera?
Of course. You ever see Superbad?
Nah.
You ever seen Superbad?
Mm-mm.
You gotta check that out, dude.
You seen Superbad?
What? What'd you say?
He said you played in Superbad.
I had a part in Superbad? You talking Jonah Hill? I wish I did.
You think they misused you at Georgia?
A lot of people thought I was a football player, but I was cool playing basketball.
If Kirby was smart, he would have put you at quarterback.
He should have. I think we wanted. Nah, we ain't win my year. LSU won. Yeah, if I would have been quarterback, would have been all right.
Where is Jake from?
He was at the game last time I went to the game.
But where is he from?
I don't know where he's from.
You played at Georgia before the whole NIL thing, right?
Yeah, I ain't get no paper. I wish I would have got some paper. I wish NIL was alive when I went to school.
Right.
I would have milked them folk.
Austin Reeves on the floor, but off the floor, Kawhi Leonard.
Nah.
You don't have a lot of good marketing deals?
I ain't never seen too many commercials of Kawhi Leonard.
They don't all come out.
Yeah, he kind of like laid back. Yeah, Kawhi cool. He be on some chill shit.
Where did you learn sign language?
From the hood, growing up. We got a different sign language in Atlanta though. It's like, if I give my partner a look, that mean like, hey, it's time to goddamn roll.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you talking about like real sign language and shit?
Yeah, just the stuff we see you doing.
Man, you trolling, man. You trolling.
Well, this is just stuff we see you doing.
I learned it in the hood growing up.
Oh, is that like
oh, yeah, I'm
suck my
fucking with
dick?
it. No, oh my God.
What is that?
How'd you learn that one?
I got that one from WWE. I think that's what it called, yeah.
What are the hood ones then?
Nah, it's some whole other shit. You don't want to know about that.
Show us one.
Nah, we can't. We ain't gonna do that.
Can we do one last segment presented by Chica Cheetah?
Yeah.
How about this? Just one.
Nah, we ain't gonna do that. Nah, them folk gonna ban me forever.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Big up again. Comedians should do that. Comedians should do more of that.
Was that depressing to you, seeing one turkey kind of taken out of circulation, turkey you couldn't eat?
You said if you had a son, you would not let him play football. What makes you...
Hey, yo, friend of the show, chill, my friend. Friend of the show. Friend of the show, chill. Be a friend of the show. Friend of the show, whoever you are, or whoever you are, wherever you may be, chill. Chill. Let's all relax. Let's bring the temperature down. Let's all relax. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. Let's relax.
think that he would want to play football? What if he was a nerd like you?
Do you think a woman like Michelle would marry a nerd? Why don't you ask her whether she thinks I'm a nerd?
Could I?
No, I'm not going to let her near you.
So clearly, Zach's show got these politicians to play into the bit with him, which showed people who didn't even support them back then that they're at least able to drop the act and make fun of themselves for a few minutes. He also didn't try to seriously discuss their policies with them because that's simply way out of his scope. He just did comedy because he's a comedian. Then, on the other hand, with Rogan and Schultz and even Akash Singh, rest in peace, not only did they brown-nose...
Rest in peace is crazy. Don't get me wrong, they did act like he was dead, but rest in peace is fucking crazy to say. Even as a joke, putting that type of energy out there is fucking insane.
Trump to no end, but they also try to be like pseudo-political journalists, which unsurprisingly just resulted in Trump taking control of the conversation, as they have absolutely zero experience in that field. So Trump essentially took advantage of that and used their huge platforms to convince their massive audience that he's actually just a great guy who wants the best for America. And of course, these hacks never even dared to bring up something controversial for Trump like the Epstein files, because A, they were way too scared to, B, because Trump would probably get all butthurt about it, and C, is because Trump's team probably gave them a list of things to talk about with him, which is most likely the case and would be super ironic considering they're all about free speech, right? And Zach Galifianakis touches on this idea a little more in this recent Conan podcast. Because in Zach's Hillary Clinton interview, apparently Hillary's team wanted Zach to steer away from mentioning her email controversy, but Zach actually turned them down and said he'd have to mention it with Hillary if she came on, which they ended up agreeing to.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, Mrs. Clinton. We should stay in touch. What's the best way to reach you? Email?
That's good. That's good.
Fine, but the comedy has to come first. I remember when I interviewed Hillary Clinton, and I could tell she didn't want to be there, and I totally get that. I get it. But before we had set that whole thing up, they wrote back, well, you can't bring up those emails. And I go, well, we don't have to do the interview. That's fine. We won't do it.
Yeah.
When you tell powerful people no, it's crazy. They were like, okay, we'll do it. Well, you can ask.
Yeah.
Because it's not that important to me to do it the way they want to do it. You have to, if you're going to come in a comedy, you got to do the way we want to do it.
Also, I see this all the time, and I've seen it for years and years and years and years. People not understanding that if they go to the supposedly vulnerable place and have a sense of humor about it, it is magical for them. Mm-hmm. People see they have a sense of humor. They see that they can take a joke. I mean, no one walked away from your interview with Obama and thought, wow, you really showed him. He got to be hilarious. He sat there and entered your world of, being intentionally ignorant about who he is, what he does, cutting him off, being insanely rude, and gave it back to you in equal measure. And you looked at it and you thought, this is a great piece of comedy. And I know it reflects well back on the president, and our current president would do well to understand that, if he let himself be the butt of the joke,
it's impossible.
It's humanizing. I know it is impossible.
You wouldn't do it with him.
It wouldn't work. No.
It wouldn't work.
So yeah, I mean, it's just so funny that Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz consider Trump to be the funniest president of all time, with them even going as far as to say that he could be a comedian in another lifetime, because just like them, Trump gets super sensitive when anyone says anything critical about him. Like he's just not able to joke about himself even slightly. But according to Joe Rogan's definition of comedy, Trump fits the bill. I mean, he loves making fun of marginalized groups, using slurs, and overall punching down, which as you might know by now is just comedy gold for the average mothership attendee. After all, that is right-wing comedy, and according to Zach Galifianakis, it stinks.
There's also the math of comedy to me sometimes where the punching down that the right seems to do something, and I don't want to get political here, but that's not as funny to me as taking on the powerful. Mm-hmm. Like the math of it doesn't work for me.
That's a good point. But I think they don't do it because they want to be friends and they like them. People just missing that point. I don't know why people miss that point. I think he's generally right. I think that's what Tim Dillon said. That's why he doesn't want to have most. I think Tim Dillon mentioned that's why he kind of avoids having the current administration on, because he'd want to tease them. He'd want to rib into them. He'd want to fucking, you know what I mean? Be funny and poke. But he knows if he does that, it's going to upset them. You know? And it's going to affect the way that he speaks about them in future, because he might want to protect how they feel or not hurt their feelings. But I also think people just miss out on the fact that these guys like these people. Like, Rogan isn't throwing Theo under the bus and gaslighting him the way that he's doing because you know what I mean? Like, he's doing it because he loves Trump. Like, people just need to accept that. Like, he's not going to come back around. Whoever gets into power next, most likely going to be a Democrat, isn't going to make Rogan suddenly become a liberal again. He's gone. These guys are gone. They're going to be right-wing hacks until the day that they die. Like, people need to just accept that. This is not a temporary thing. They're going to be right-wing hacks until the day that they die. And any person who they interview or they have on their platform that's a centrist or leans more right, they're always going to be more favorable to. Because they like them as people. Would it be better if they challenged them and there was a bit more confrontational or a bit funnier? Yes. Are they going to do it ever? No, because they want them to be their friends. Rogan actually enjoys texting Trump. Notice, Rogan didn't mention it, by the way. People in the stream chat, keep that in mind. If I'm not mistaken, Rogan never mentioned he's the one that texted Trump. If anything, I think it got out. Somebody else mentioned it. Rogan never admitted it before. He never admitted that he's on texting terms with Trump. I think a story came out I don't know what it was. Maybe it was some like journalistic piece or something about Trump and his text or something. Then there was a mention that he texted Rogan. Rogan never volunteered that information. Rogan never willingly volunteered the information that he texted Trump. He kept that very quiet for a reason.
Like, to take on some marginalized people, make fun of that. Listen, I'm all for humor. I can defend it, but that mathematically, that's why you don't see a lot of
Big up Gamebridge. No, it will be a Democrat. It's going to swing that way. I think people are fed up with the right anyway in general in America. I think there's no one on the right that they're going to vote for. If it's Vance, they're not going to vote for him. I can't really think of a candidate that sticks out. It's definitely going to go left. Whoever lines up next in the next political race or whatever, or elections, I think it's more than likely to lean left. It's more likely to go Democrat. I think the Democrats are definitely going to win. 100 million percent. 100 million percent. Obviously, nothing's going to change because the game is rigged. I think COVID proved to us that the game is rigged. I think if you're still here hoping that somebody with a different color tie is going to make your life better, you are smoking on the biggest crack stick ever. I think COVID proved that the game is rigged across the board, around the world. The game is fucking rigged, and it's not rigged in your favor. Doesn't matter what tie the person has on.
I'm loyal to default.
Go on.
I'll have a breakfast Valium with my chocolate milk, but you should read King Lear again, mate. It is that serious. Anyone who says it isn't lies.
Yeah. Big up. Appreciate you. Yeah, Gavin Newsom's a front runner. Yeah, for sure. Whoever Gavin Newsom goes up against, he's gonna dog walk. Whoever Gavin Newsom goes up against, he's gonna dog walk. I don't even get the feeling. Again, I don't pay too much of attention to politics, but I don't even get the feeling like even the Republicans like JD Vance as much. I think Trump liked him, but I don't get the feeling that the Republicans like JD Vance. So I don't think even he's gonna be a worthy candidate. Like, Gavin Newsom was gonna eat him apart. Like, he's gonna tear him a new one. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be light work for Gavin Newsom if he ends up having to face him, or or God forbid a Stephen Miller type. Gavin Newsom will definitely win over those dads. But big up Ken, appreciate you for the $5 donor, brother. Big up Ken, appreciate you for the $5 donor.
Comedy that comes out of the right. It's hard to do. I'm not suggesting you cannot. It's just difficult to do because of the dynamics.
Yeah.
Greg Gutfeld.
Yeah, that is true. Big up Gamebird. You'd be surprised, mate. That is true. We did say that when when Trump went up against fucking Hillary, innit? Most of us were like, he's never gonna win. Look at the things that he's saying. He's so mean. He's so right wing. And then he fucking won. So yeah, that is true. Sometimes what you believe and what happens are very, very different things. Marco Rubio. Oh, that's good. You see Marco Rubio wearing the fucking Nike Tech fleece. You saw that, right? This is not fucking AI. Have you guys fucking seen this? Marco Rubio in the Nike Tech suit. Please tell me you've seen this. He actually looks really good. On fucking I guess it's that presidential plane too, no? He actually looks really fucking good in that Nike Tech suit. Look at him. He's got the Maduro fucking Nike Tech fleece on. Absolutely insane. He actually looks kind of good. No homo, but he actually looks kind of good.
What a hilarious comment.
You got him. I don't know if they'll show up to work again.
So he calls out Greg Gutfeld directly here, but this absolutely applies to the majority of the Rogan Sphere.
Really? Big up Podcastables on the kick. I reckon that Kirkbird should run. I have a slogan that says don't get hit in the neck by the left. Jesus Christ. It should... Erica Kirk? Nah, there's no way. She's very unliked. If she runs, that'll be a big mistake. It'll be like similar to Hillary Clinton running, you know what I mean? You don't really read the room and you don't realize how much people don't like you and your husband or your political family. Yeah, I don't think Erica Kirk should run for president. I think she'd definitely lose. She would definitely fucking lose.
Comics too, because when they do get up on stage and do their material, it's a truly miserable experience, as they mostly just punch down with super unoriginal stereotypes that you first discovered in middle school, which isn't even necessarily a right-wing thing. I mean, everyone can be a hack, But this kind of punching down seems to happen primarily with right-wing comics, which most people see as completely backwards and lazy, because it's easier to punch at people who are already down instead of the bigger figures like the corrupt billionaires and people in power.
Good point,
but
very
of course
good point.
they'd never do that, because they're literally friends with them. Like Joe Rogan never in a million years would poke fun at Peter Thiel, and it's completely pathetic.
Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you. They were all talking about how you're you might be conservative in your financial positions, but you're very liberal socially. They were talking about you in such a favorable light. The audience was cheering.
But anyways, another point I'd like to make here before the Rogan fanboys get their panties in a knot in the comments is that there's obviously a difference between the interview styles of Between Two Ferns and a long-term podcast like JRE. I mean, Between Two Ferns is anything but a podcast. If anything, it's more of like what inspired Sunday Conversations with Caleb Pressley. But regardless of how different the shows are, it's still not an excuse for just how bad the Trump podcasts really were. Because it's like, if these guys are the professional comedians that they claim themselves to be, then you'd expect them to at least have a smidgen of jokes laced into the podcast. But believe it or not a single joke was found in the multiple hours of Joe Rogan's, Andrew Schultz's, or even Theo Vaughn's podcast with these figures. So these guys are obviously podcasters first, who are merely grifting.
That picture's crazy. That picture is fucking crazy. Who made that? That picture's insane. He looks like a child. Honestly, God did Rogan, God did society at large a favor by making Rogan 5'2" or 5'3" he is. Imagine how unbearable Rogan would be if he was 6'4" with fucking shoulder length hair. Imagine if Rogan was 6'4" with shoulder length fucking hair. How unbearable he'd be. He's already unbearable as he is now. Just imagine how much more he would be up his own ass if he was fucking 6'4". Jesus Christ. Thank you, God.
First, who are merely grifting as stand-up comedians.
I would say the fact that like I'm not leaning into one vertical means I get hate from every single group, right? And it's like, right, it's important to have these conversations. Like I'm positioned in a certain way. Obviously we had Trump on the podcast. I've had like 5 Democratic politicians on the podcast. I've had 1 Republican, but I'm viewed in this certain way because it's the easiest way to get clicks and my name is clickability and whatever. I don't know, like, sorry.
He has one ability I don't have. Yeah. He sleeps. He can sleep. This guy goes on a beach and he lays down on one of those, 6 ounce, they weigh 6 ounces and you can't lift it. Yeah. They're meant for.
Another humiliating aspect of these Trump podcasts was that after they gave him their full support and helped him get elected, they immediately flip-flopped on Trump after seeing how he's now straight up speedrunning thermonuclear war, protecting Bibi and the Epstein class, and doing major damage to Americans without any remorse. Like, it's usually respectable and mature to be able to admit that they made a mistake with who they voted for and change directions after realizing, but the fact that Trump was in office doing these same things for 4 years straight before going on to these podcasts just shows you that they're flip-flopping in order.
That being a president doing that is fucking crazy, isn't it? A president doing this during a rally is fucking insane, isn't it? It really is insane. A president doing this in a rally, like mocking somebody with a disability. It's fucking nuts, isn't it? A president mocking somebody with a disability is actually insane. Like, oh my fucking God, man. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God.
These same things for 4 years straight before going on to these podcasts just shows you that they're flip-flopping in order to save face more than anything else.
You have to decide which team are you on.
I hate that.
It's so stupid. I'm politically homeless. I've always been political.
No, you're not, though. Why are you lying? Again, these guys are such pussies when it comes to being right-wing. They're such pussies. You sit there and you glaze Trump. You make all the excuses for him. You refuse to blame him for any of the things going wrong over there in America. But then you have the gall. You have the brass to say that you're fucking... What's that thing called? you're politically homeless. No, you're not politically homeless at all. Zero. Politically homeless, you know. No, you're not.
Politically homeless for a long time.
And don't get me wrong, Zach Galifianakis let Obama plug his policies in the short interview he did with him on Between Two Ferns 2. But to this very day, Zach is actually fine with that, which he touched on in the Good Ones podcast he did a few weeks ago when asked if he felt implicated in helping show Obama in a positive light.
Do you feel at all implicated by having Obama on Between Two Ferns?
Implicated?
In so much as like that to some people might be like, is this a real interview? What is this doing? Is this comedy or is this mess? In so much as it is a sort of abstract space of not clear lines of, is this entertainment or is this a political message?
That's a good question. I think fundamentally, there should be a space for politicians to have comedic interviews. I don't think every interview a politician should be having is them getting raked over the coals. They should be able to show a fun side of them. That's the whole part of being a politician. You should be able to show that you can get the job done and that you're also a fucking normal human being to some extent. That's what I think. But I think there are some people that don't agree. There's some people that think that a politician should always be speaking about politics, should always be conducting serious interviews, should always be reaffirming their stances, clarifying their policies, answering hot button topics, I don't think that's true. I think a politician should be able to go on a fucking, if they're into cars, go on a fucking car show and just talk about their love of cars. You know? But that shouldn't be an opportunity for somebody to host and be like, oh my God, let's talk about what's going on in the war. It's like, brother, let's save that interview for the war, for the people that can actually talk about war. Let me just talk about my fucking cars I like. Personally, I think that you should be able to balance those two things. Now, maybe optics wise, is it wise for a politician to be sitting around like, I think what Mamdani is doing is a good thing. I think every time you see Mamdani doing an interview, yes, it's humorous, but it's always about politics in a way. It's always about what he's trying to do for New York as mayor. Maybe there's something to be said for, as a politician, especially if you're president, you probably shouldn't be wasting time on comedy podcasts, talking comedy and joking around. You have too much on your plate. Too many lives are at stake. Too much is on the line. You know what I mean? So every interview you should be having, even if it's got a humorous spin, there should always be an angle where you're talking about politics, you know? So maybe I agree with that side of things. Maybe I think that is probably quite necessary going forward.
It's tough now because the podcasters have become just ass kissers for the politicians, right? They don't challenge them. They just like, yeah, that's cool, right? And that I don't want to do. Like, we challenged Obama. Yeah. We made it uncomfortable for him in a way that was done for comedic.
Trump doing Gearheads Gone Wild.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. That would be fucking brilliant. That would be fucking brilliant. Trump probably knows nothing about cars anyway. Trump probably knows nothing about cars. He just likes them shiny and big. Is it bulletproof? Yes, cool. Let's go. Bulletproof and bomb-proof, no problem. Let's fucking go. He probably knows absolutely zero about cars. He probably knows more about McDonald's than he knows about cars. He probably knows more about McDonald's than he does about cars.
Effects. Yes, so he could get his message off for healthcare. Yes, that was a thing that he was doing. But I first need to entertain people. That's my whole thing. And to see a goofy comedian with a very well-respected gentleman that's our president, I mean, it kind of writes itself already.
So funny enough, by roasting Obama and having him roast Zach back and act in an overall rude sort of way, it ironically made both Zach Galifianakis and Barack Obama more likable. And then in contrast, by huffing Trump's farts and praising him for whatever he had to say that day, it came off like it was a staged propaganda event.
That's actually a good point. That's actually a really good point. By challenging Obama and making him sound snarky, getting on his kind of quote unquote bad side, it actually made him more likable. You know, weirdly enough. But this glazing thing didn't do these guys. To be fair, this kind of like amplified the hate towards these guys. The Trump press run really amplified the hate. Really made, especially Americans, it made them hate the comedy podcast class. And I don't think they're ever going to come back from it. The wider public, the American public, are never going to forgive them for this shit, you know? They're never going to forgive these comedy podcasters for emboldening a whole generation of men to vote for them and all this shit. endorsed them, and then look where they're at now. You know what I mean? Look where they're at now. All those jobs bring back to America, not fucking here. All those jobs allegedly are not fucking here. Crazy how that works. Crazy how that works. Anyway, big up American Redact. Check him out. That's the video title there. You see it there? That's the video title. Big up American Redact.